I have come here to chew bubblegum and kick ass. And I'm all out of bubblegum.
We have such sights to show you.
Yeah, well, you know, that's just like your opinion, man.
They're coming to get you, Barbara.
Check out the big brain on Brad.
I guess I was probably returning videotapes.
I am big. It's the picture that got small.
Who cares?
Hello, everybody, and welcome to the latest installment of the Movie Roulette Tuesday podcast. This is Carl.
And this is Rachel.
And this is Matt.
So, my pick for Strange Bedfellows.
Yes.
I had a hard time with this one.
Oh.
Our finale.
And it wasn't...
Always.
It wasn't because it was a hard topic. It was just a wide topic.
Okay.
A lot of choices.
So, I started, as I always do, by going through the movies I have.
Wise.
Because I have a lot of them.
You have so many.
Many of them I haven't watched, which is a separate discussion. But, so I came up with a list of films that I own that I thought fit the theme. So, some examples: Let the Right One In.
Yep.
From Dusk Till Dawn, I had on my list.
These are all vampire movies.
Night of the Living Dead.
Zombie movie.
The Burbs, I had on there. Then I also had my number one contender was, and I don't own it, but it was rentable on Amazon, See No Evil, Hear No Evil.
Oh,
starring Gene Wilder and Richard Pryor, where a blind man and a deaf man witness a murder and they have to try to investigate it.
That would have been a good one.
I remember that being very funny when I was a kid, so
yes.
that would have been a nice revisit.
Yes.
After not having seen it for a while. Then Prime Day happened.
Uh-oh.
Amazon Prime Day. Mm-hmm. I'm not a big Prime Day. Did you guys get anything for Prime Day? Do you do Prime Day?
Not a single item.
I bought our daughter's birthday present.
Okay.
On Prime Day?
Well, it was a pre-Prime sale, so it was involved.
Okay, so it was Prime adjacent.
Adjacent. Pre-Prime.
Pre-Prime.
But yeah.
So I don't go crazy for Prime Day, but I'll look. I'll poke around just to see what's on there. I think we talked about the old podcasting microphone that we used to use.
That was
a Prime Day, deal.
That's right.
So I'll take a look just to see if anything sticks out to me.
Tickles your fancy.
Don't talk about my fancy. So I looked at the movies.
Special purpose.
I looked at the movies as I'm wont to do. And I saw a movie on there on sale that
wow.
I've always known of it, but I've never seen it.
Okay.
So it's been on my radar. And it was a good deal. Mm-hmm. And I picked it up.
How much you pay for it?
$12, $13 maybe.
Okay. I don't even know how much DVDs cost now.
No, well, this is a Blu-ray, Rachel.
How much do Blu-rays cost?
It depends on the Blu-ray.
How much is a banana? Like $10?
So I looked at the description of said movie.
Yes.
And I said to myself, that sounds perfect.
Oh.
For our theme.
Okay.
So my pick is 1982's Night Shift.
Okay.
So just to give you a synopsis of Night Shift, Chuck, played by Henry Winkler,
the Fonz,
has given up life as a stockbroker because it was too stressful.
Hey.
Now he works an easy gig as a night shift attendant at a New York City morgue.
Yeah.
His co-worker, Bill Blazejowski, played by Michael Keaton, on the other hand, is always looking to make a quick buck. When Bill finds out that Chuck's prostitute neighbor, Belinda, played by Shelley Long, needs a place to do her work, he convinces Chuck to turn the morgue into a brothel where they can work as her pimps.
Wow, 1982.
That sounds like a pretty good Strange Bedfellows in more ways than one description to me.
Okay.
So this film was directed by Movie Roulette Tuesday favorite at this point, I would like to think, Ron Howard.
Absolutely. I have high expectations of this movie about a brothel and a morgue.
So, I mean, what have we... So, 13 Lives was Ron Howard.
Cinderella Man.
Was Ron Howard. Wasn't there another one?
Yeah, I mean...
We watched another Ron Howard movie for the podcast?
Probably. I don't know.
I don't know.
So, this was very early Ron Howard. So, he had directed... His first feature film was a movie called Grand Theft Auto that he directed in 1977. And then he did some TV movies... in the late 70s, early 80s. But this was his first, like, major
He was practically
Hollywood
still Opie.
motion picture. Obviously, this reunites him with his Happy Days co-star, Henry Winkler.
Yep.
And Henry Winkler's an interesting one because I obviously remember him from Happy Days. And then I feel like there was a gap in my Winkler exposure. Because don't say anything.
Don't talk about your Winkler.
Or my fancy. Because the next time I vividly remember Henry Winkler was in Scream.
Oh,
He was
really?
in the he was the principal in the first Scream movie.
Oh,
and then he was
have,
on
like,
Arrested Development.
Yes, that's
Yeah.
how his resurgence to me was on Arrested Development.
I don't know that I saw any Henry Winkler between Happy Days and Scream.
I want to say he was on some cop show.
Was he?
I think so. I
Really?
vaguely remember that. I don't know if it's one of those, like, your brain makes shit up. kind of
Mandela
memories.
effect.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
Did he play a genie?
no.
No.
No. But
Shazam.
I do. I have some vague memory of him playing on some cop show. He was like either a detective or something. We'll have to look that up.
Yeah, I'm not sure about that.
So I don't have a lot.
Neither am I. No.
I don't have a lot of experience with Henry Winkler, but he was hilarious on Arrested Development. He was great.
Oh my God,
Yeah.
he was great. What was his name on Arrested Development? I completely forgot. Nobody remembers.
He was a lawyer.
It
He was the
it wasn't
family-
Bob Loblaw.
No,
was it?
no, that was
That was Ed
it?
Begley Jr.
Yeah.
no, that was like Scott Baio.
Oh, Scott Baio.
Oh, Scott Baio.
Yeah, Henry Winkler was the family lawyer, but I can't remember his
But he
name.
was
I bet my
also-
sister is shouting at this podcast.
Wasn't he also
Yes.
on Parks and Rec?
Henry Winkler?
the
Yeah, he
Money
was
Please
the dad.
Dad?
He was the dad of John Ralphio
That's right.
Saperstein.
That's
also hilarious. And Mona Lisa.
That's right.
Money, please. Oh, good stuff.
So Barry Zuckerkorn.
Okay.
Thank you. That's right.
Yeah.
That was his name in Arrested Development.
Yep. So Winkler's in it. Michael Keaton, this is actually his first major film role.
Wow. He's going to be young.
There were two
Modest
movies
beginnings, yes.
two
Yes.
movies prior to this where he was just a bit part. So this is his first major Hollywood
Wow.
role.
Okay.
He got a lot of good reviews for this. The movie had mixed reviews, but everybody was pretty unanimous as far as liking Michael Keaton.
Pre Mr. Mom.
Yes.
I loved Mr. Mom
Yep.
with Terry Garr. That's a good movie, too.
Now, also of note, there are brief scenes in this movie. So Kevin Costner
Playing
plays
Kevin Costner.
frat boy number 1,
Oh, really?
His best role.
and the recently departed Shannon Doherty
Oh.
plays Bluebird Scout.
Was she like 10?
She must have been I'm assuming
Probably.
Bluebird,
Yeah.
maybe like
Yeah,
a Girl Scouts kind of thing.
I would think so, but okay.
So she makes a short
So we have to
appearance in
spot
that.
these cameos.
So we're looking for Kevin Costner and Shannon Doherty.
And a young Shannon Doherty.
So I thought it sounded like a good
Oh, yeah.
Strange Bedfellows.
This is going to be a MRT special.
Now I've never seen this, but Matt, you're saying you saw it.
Yeah, so this is one of those movies I remember seeing in not watching, but seeing the box in a movie rental place, like when I was young. And I remember the cover, and I remember some of the pictures on the back, and Henry Winkler and Michael Keaton were in it. So, you have those weird memories that just stick in your brain for no good reason, and they come back. And I'm pretty sure that we saw this, like someone rented it at a sleepover where we got a bunch of movies and we put this on or something like that. But it's been removed from my memory. Like, I don't remember much of any of the details of the film.
Yeah.
But I do remember seeing it a very long time ago.
Okay.
Rachel?
I may have. I don't know. It sounds familiar, but that doesn't mean anything. And same thing that if I saw this, it was long ago, and it's no longer there.
Okay.
It's going to be like, even if I did see it, it's a brand new movie.
Great.
Yeah.
Awesome.
So we got that going for us.
All right.
And you've never seen it.
I've never seen it. I've always known of it.
Okay.
It always appealed to me. I mean, we've talked about how I wanted to be a mortician
Yes.
in my younger days. So the
Yeah.
whole idea of like a morgue brothel, it's like, okay, I
This would have been a side gig for you.
That's
then?
like a level
maybe.
up, though, from, being a medical examiner or mortician to operating a brothel.
yeah.
I don't know if it's a level up.
It's a different level.
different skill set. I mean, there's probably rules and regulations preventing this.
There are.
Probably
but
one or
obviously
two.
we can bypass
couple.
them. Cool.
But so I wanted to talk the Night Shift is the name of this film.
That is what we are watching.
So I wanted to talk about shifts. So there are three
Like a stick shift.
No, working
Like a
shifts.
Night shift.
So there are 3 shifts,
Yes.
right? So we've got first shift,
Day shift.
which is 9 to 5 traditionally.
Or 7 to 3.
We've
Fair
got
enough.
second shift,
Yeah.
and then we've got third shift.
Yeah.
At this point, I think all of us are on first shift.
Yeah.
What about in the past? Have either of you ever worked second or third shift?
Would you
Well, I
like
mean,
to,
yeah,
would you
we
like
both
to,
have.
Yes. I've done all of them.
My third shift experience was at a gas station near a highway, and
Which I can't believe you did.
What were you talking? When would this have been?
I was 15, I think, because
You were a 15-year-old working third shift at a gas station?
yeah.
Off
So
the highway.
I started my working experience early when I was 14. I started working a paint store, and I had time, so I picked up another gig at the same time, working at a gas station, and I would occasionally do like a morning shift at the paint store. We would start relatively early, like 7, and I'd work until like 3, and then I'd go home and get some rest and eat, and then I'd go to the gas station and work 11 p.m. to 7 a.m.
Oh, my God.
With no calculator, no cash register.
We had
It
a
was
cash
like
box.
money box and your brain.
And, the police would stop by and just check in every once in a while and just wave, and we had like one of those
alive?
drawers that would go out so that I could lock the door and,
Get
if
transfer
it was weird, we
funds
could,
through,
we could do that. But there was also a hotel across the street, and I would get all kinds of people coming in. Just like I had some guy.
So is this like one of those like booth gas stations where you're in like a booth, or was this like a full store
so
type
It's like
gas
a
station?
convenience store.
Well, it was a small store, like we had obviously gas pumps. There was 2 pumps that were full service, and people would come, and I would have to go out and pump their gas.
That's so lame.
And it was a service station as well. So during the day, that people would like drop off their cars and stuff for the next day or whatever.
But they had like chips and drinks
for
and
the mechanics.
stuff in
But it
there
was a
that you
small
could buy.
shop. Yeah, like you can come in and they had like coffee and drinks and crap like that, cigarettes. I still remember cigarettes were $2.15
Wow.
a pack at the time. But like Rachel said, there was no register. I got really good at doing basic math in my head real fast. I did have a calculator.
Oh, you did? Good.
at times. And we had, one of those old credit card imprint machines.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, where you'd swipe it.
to
It
do
was like
that.
the die.
And we'd always get foreign people coming in asking for, instead of like, put $20 on pump 3, they'd be like, I need 7 gallons. It's like, well, I can't do that.
that.
They're
I
like, well,
need
figure
money.
out how much it is and put that much on it. Anyway, so I'd get all kinds of people coming into the store. And I was always told, if something seems shady, you can always lock the door and just take their cash through the box. But I never did. I would always leave the door unlocked.
Like, come on in, weirdos.
And I would have, like, people would go to this hotel across the street and they had a bar. And people would wander over, sometimes without a car, like looking for coffee or whatever, or like trying to trade things for gas. Like that was a thing that happened more than once. There was a guy, he was somewhat of a regular that would go drink at the hotel and be wasted when he'd come over
Yeah.
and like chat with me. at the station, and he tried to trade me. Do you know what a blackjack is?
Yeah, it's like
Those little clubs, right?
It's a weapon.
It's
with
like a lead-filled.
It's weight.
It's like a weighted club,
Yeah.
kind of
But
thing.
it's soft.
Yeah,
Like leather,
Yeah.
right?
But it's meant to hit someone in the head. with.
Bludgeon. It's bludgeoning.
So he pulls this thing out.
You're like, whoa.
In the station, and he's like, I need like $15 in gas. I don't have any cash. Would you like trade this? I'm like, I don't have any money. I'm
like,
working at a gas
Yeah.
station.
This isn't the barter system.
Right.
I know.
So that was a member. He went away, but
At least he didn't try to hit you with the blackjack.
man, like, just it was a bizarre experience. You would get all different kinds of people, mostly normal. They just wanted gas and go, but sometimes you would just get strange characters. It was a weird job to have, and you're there by yourself for hours. So I would listen to the radio all night, or like people would call me on the phone and we'd talk on the phone.
Yeah.
It couldn't have been busy.
No, it wasn't. Not at that time.
No.
But yeah, that was my night shift
That's your night shift.
experience. I don't think I've worked any other jobs where I'd had to do like an overnight stint or anything like that.
Rachel?
Let's see. My first job was evening shift, which made sense because I was in college, and I worked at a copy store, and we would stay open late till like 11. And I liked that job. That was fun. People would come in and same kind of thing. They'd buy like all these, they could make their own copies, and it was like 6 cents a copy. So they'd have to like count them all out and be like, oh, I have 27 copies. It was just weird. And then we ran the big machines in the back, and that was a lot of fun. It wasn't very exciting, there was nothing weird going on. And then I did work the night shift as a new nurse. You kind of paid your dues, and I worked the night shift. I did it for a whole year. And that's weird. The night shift is weird. You hit like, no matter what's going on, or at least for me, I tolerated it okay. I would work 7 p.m. to 7 a.m. 3 days a week. That was my night shift. Mm-hmm. And no matter how much sleep you got or didn't get or what was going on, for me at like 3:30 in the morning, there was a wall. And you hit that wall. And every time I worked, I had to like power through that wall. You have to like get through it till you get to like 4:30, 5 o'clock, where you got to like fight the urge. Your body's like, I need to go to sleep. I don't know what you're doing, making money and working, but I need to go to sleep. So you'd always have to like overcome that feeling. And sometimes it was a physical feeling, like you'd get flushed or dizzy, or my heart would start pounding. But I did it. I didn't like it. Like, I think it was a good way to be new at something, like a new nurse. It wasn't as crazy as the day shift. You really got time to like, plus you were on your own. You had to learn.
Did you get weirder stuff like overnight?
No, because I worked on a med-surg floor.
Oh, so it's people that are
So
already
it was
there.
people that were already
Yeah.
there, but people would do real weird things. Like, you'd have dementia patients sundown. So, like, you could tell that the sun was going down. It was nighttime, because all of a sudden there'd be at least one person, and they'd always be shouting, Frank! Frank! And it would go on for hours, just like that. Frank! All night. No matter what you did, you could go in there, you could try to console them, you could try to distract them. The second you left, we were shouting for Frank again. And then that was pretty much the craziest thing. Everything else was stuff that would happen during the day too, except you were on your own. Like, I remember, if a patient codes, meaning they go into cardiac arrest and you do the things like CPR and push medications. During the day, 8 million people show up. It's like everybody. It's the A-team, right? People from the ICU come up, and anesthesia comes up, and respiratory, but there's always like a few of each of them. So you have like all these resources,
Code blue.
and a couple of transporters to run things back and forth for you. At night, it's like 4 people. You're like, oh my God, I have to save this person. And so it's a very different vibe, but you learn to be self-reliant, and you you learn so much more because no one else is taking over.
No one's going to help you.
No one is coming to save you. Like, you need to learn how to do things. So that was good. But I was bitchy. Like, I didn't think I was. But after a year on the night shift, you can ask my husband because...
Let me tell you, being on the other side of that, where I had a normal job at that point, it sucked. Like...
Yeah.
Because it must impact the days you're not working because your sleep schedule is all screwed up, right?
I was so messed up. I felt like I was in cotton balls, like living in a fog all the time.
Yeah.
All the time.
For like a year.
I couldn't like get it together. I didn't know when I was supposed to be sleeping, when I was supposed to be awake. You don't want to, and then even when you work, you don't want to miss things during the day. Like you go home, I drive home, and like people are mowing the lawn or out and about, people are beeping, cars are going, kids are shouting outside, and it's like, all right, go to sleep.
Well, we'd see each other for like 10 minutes, and then I'd have to go to work.
Like ships passing in the night.
My God.
Yeah.
Speaking of ships passing in the night, did I ever tell you, do you know the story of how I was proposed to?
Oh my God.
What do you mean, oh my God? The night shift was involved in this.
Yeah, it was.
So I was working, and we lived in an apartment, and I was working nights. And I had, no kids, no responsibilities, really. So I'd work doubles because you'd make a killing, right? You get the night differential, and then you get overtime. So I'm in the middle of like 3 shifts in a row, and it's my last night. So my second to last night, I worked a double, meaning I worked 7 p.m. to 11 a.m. And once you do that, you're done. I'm toast. I can't work anymore. I can't function. So I go home. I go to bed. I probably get up around 4 or 5 o'clock in the evening. And now because I worked a double, they gave me a deal where I didn't have to go in that night till 11. So I'm like, great. I can spend some time with my husband. So I wake up and I smell like steak. Steak's cooking. I go out, the table's all set. I'm like, what's going on? He's like, nothing. I'm making you dinner. And there's like a bottle of nice wine on the table. And I'm like totally out of it. Yeah. I have no idea what's going on. I'm in my nightgown. But he's apparently ready to do this. So I'm sitting there and we eat the dinner. And it was nice. And then all of a sudden, I get this, I'm like, this is it. I'm too tired. I gotta wake up.
So did you know this was coming?
I knew, well, I didn't know at the very moment. I knew he was going to propose to me at some point in the year. I didn't know it was.
So you knew it was imminent.
Then. It was imminent.
I had this ring burning a hole in my pocket. You can only sit on it for so long.
I can imagine. But he picks the night where I worked a double, and then he proposes to me, which was wonderful and beautiful, and I loved it, and it was perfect. But then I had to go back to work.
Okay, thanks. This great ring. I'll see you tomorrow morning.
I know.
That's what happened.
It's like you couldn't have waited.
I knew that you were in a delirium-like state.
I really was.
Dead.
Oh, is that what it was? You took advantage of that?
You weren't going to say no.
I would never say no. Never say no to you. But I was delirious. But you know what? That was such an odd timing. I'll never forget it.
Yeah.
Because I was so
that's what I was going for.
Whacked out. And then it was the ring was just slightly too big because I wanted to wear it to work. I wanted to show it off. Be like, look, everyone, I got engaged. But I was also, I couldn't really do it because I'm like, it's going to fall off. I'm going to put a pair of gloves on and then pull them off. And there goes my thousands of dollar, I'm sure, ring.
See that's interesting because when I got the ring for Sarah, I don't know what she doesn't wear jewelry.
Okay.
So I had no rings of hers that I could size.
Yeah.
So I ended up having to involve her in her ring because I'm like, what do I do? Do I sneak up to her while she's sleeping and wrap a string or something around her finger to get the size? It's like how I don't know what size ring she wears.
Well, I can understand that. I mean, you kind of know, unless it's a total surprise, that your spouse-to-be kind of knows that you're talking about marriage,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So it's not.
I mean, you
like-
did wear rings, so
I
that's
did.
how I got the rough size.
I know, but I have freakishly tiny hands, so they're like carny hands. They're really small. My ring size is like a 5.5,
Yeah.
which is very small. But we got it resized. It was great,
Yeah.
and they're still going. These rings here on my finger. But anyway,
Unlike mine, that's at the bottom of the ocean.
Yeah, Matt threw his away into the ocean.
I did not throw it away.
He's married to the
Screw
sea
this
now.
ring.
We were
Yeah,
playing
this
with our
ring's
kids
stupid.
in the water at the beach, and
Sure.
you get like sunblock on your hands and stuff. And
You thought nobody was
all of a
looking
sudden,
at
I
you.
went
You
back
just
to
hummed it.
the towel, and my ring's gone.
I know. It's all right. You got another one.
Yes, now I have a different ring.
I have a different ring.
So I'm married to the ocean and you.
Okay, well, good luck with that.
Yeah.
It's like that Brandy song.
I don't know who that is.
You do.
Brandy, you're a fine girl.
Oh.
But
I
you're
still don't
married
know
to
who
the
that
sea.
is, but I know the song. Yes.
Yeah, that's a good song.
All right.
Some interesting facts.
Wait a minute. Whoa. Back up from your facts. Did you ever work the night shift?
Yeah.
I've not technically. So my receiving job at Sam's was like 3 a.m.
Ugh, yep. I remember.
to whenever
Yeah.
it ended.
Yep. Whenever you were done.
I was salary, so I was just stuck there. So it wasn't
Screwed.
traditionally, I wasn't working overnights. I
Yeah.
did do some overnights. Like if we had to do inventory, I would work overnights.
Yeah.
Because it would take, almost a week.
3 a.m. is pretty close, though, to...
Yeah, but it was weird enough. Like it still screwed up my sleep
Of course, I remember.
because I was working like 3 a.m. to sometimes 3 in the afternoon.
But then you don't want to go to bed at like 7 p.m.
That's the thing. Like for
Yeah.
me to get a full night's sleep working at 3 in the morning, I'm not going to go to bed that early.
No.
So I was going to bed, at 10, between 10 and 11, and then waking up at 2,
No.
2:30.
Yeah, you can't run like that.
So I'm getting
forever.
4 hours sleep every night.
No.
So, and I was in my early 20s, and I'm just like, why am I doing this to myself?
I know. He would come over and he'd just fall asleep on the couch. And we'd just be like, just let him sleep.
It was bad.
It was bad.
It was bad.
I felt bad for you.
It's a lot. People aren't made to do that. Some people
Some
are.
people
I mean,
are.
somebody-
Oh,
Some
my
people
God,
thrive
some people
on
are.
it.
Well, let's talk about it.
Let's talk about it.
So, apparently, 16% of U.S. So this is from the Bureau of
Labor and Statistics.
Labor and Statistics.
Okay.
So apparently, 16% of U.S. wage and salary workers have non-standard schedules outside of 9 to 5.
That's it?
16%.
Wow.
Some industries with a high rate of night work. So manufacturing. 5.7%, transportation and utilities 6.3%, and leisure and hospitality at 2.6%.
Where's healthcare?
Not
Right.
ranking among the top percentages.
Airline pilots.
Yeah.
Younger workers, so age 15 to 24,
Yeah.
are more likely to work non-daytime
That's
shifts.
because they can handle it.
So 31.9% of that group
And they're in school.
Yeah.
compared to older workers, so 15.3% of 55 to 64
Okay.
work
Wow.
evening. Men work slightly more than of the non-day shifts than women. 17.6% of men versus 15.2%
Okay.
of women. Let's see. Lower educational attainment correlates with higher rates of non-day work.
Sure.
So there is a direct correlation between education level and your shift. What city in the United States do you think has the most night shift workers?
A Rust Belt city. I don't know.
I don't
That's
know.
my
New
guess.
York.
Las Vegas.
Oh, that makes
because
sense.
of casinos.
16.5%.
Yeah, that makes perfect sense.
27, talking about healthcare, 27% of healthcare practitioners and 19% of healthcare support workers work overnight shifts.
Yep.
29% of U.S. hourly workers dislike the health impacts of poor sleep. 24% express concerns about the lack of control over
That
their
seems
shifts.
low to me.
Everyone else doesn't care.
Yeah.
Whatever.
So apparently in 2017 to 2018, 84% of wage and salary workers had a regular daytime schedule.
Wow. All right. So most people work during the day. I mean, that makes sense.
Yep.
But some jobs are overnight jobs. And I salute you because it's a bastard.
I mean, somebody has to do it, right?
Yeah. Yep.
Working at like an Amazon Prime warehouse or something.
Oh, God. Oof.
So, yeah.
Bringing
Some
your Blu-ray
facts.
to you. That's very interesting.
Some facts about shifts.
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 Night shifts, day shifts, evening shifts.
Yeah.
I didn't mind working the evening shift in the hospital. That was 3 to 11. Because you had like time during the day. But
Sleep
then
in.
You could sleep in a little bit or get some stuff done during the day. And then you go
Seems
to
more
work.
manageable and
It
less
is.
impactful on
Yeah.
like a normal waking life
Exactly.
schedule.
Yep, definitely.
But
And everyone's winding down and going to bed.
Mm-hmm.
Go to bed.
yeah. Yep.
So, yeah.
Fun. Thank you
That's
for
all
that.
I have to say about that.
That's all I got to say about that. Don't steal my line. So if that's all you have to say about that, then what did we have for dinner?
We had that delicious pork chop recipe that you have, like the breaded, like the pressed breaded,
Wait, go on. I'm
like pork
intrigued.
chop cutlet.
What do you view
thing.
this as? Yeah, they're just pork cutlets.
yeah.
They're pounded thin, and they're breaded, and they're fried.
Yep.
And
Can't
they're
pound them too hard.
friggin' if you pound it too hard,
It breaks.
It breaks.
Yes.
And then we
That's
had
my
that
motto.
pasta that you make.
I made pasta with sauce.
I made
Yeah,
the pasta.
that delicious sauce.
Matt boiled the pasta.
Oh, it was boiled perfectly.
Yes, no,
there
it
it
wasn't.
is. It was delicious.
Boiled to
You were
perfection.
amazing, and I made the sauce.
You know, it's so you might not have known this while you were eating it,
Oh no!
but it is
Made from baby skin
well,
Is that what that chewiness was?
it was quinoa pasta.
and brown rice.
Was it
Quinoa and
really?
brown
Yeah.
rice, which I don't like the way that it boils because it gets strange. Like it gets.
Releases a lot of starch.
It does. It
in
gets
the water,
very starchy.
More than regular pasta, but it tastes good and it's better for you.
Yeah.
And nobody knows.
I didn't notice.
You didn't notice?
I didn't notice at all.
I did.
Please. And we had salad.
And salad. Wish I had some.
I'm proud of you.
Mm-hmm.
And then we have little fun cake dessert treats from
Oh.
Trader Joe's.
Delicious.
I gotta go defrost them before we start the movie.
Oh yeah. Okay.
You know?
So as I mentioned, I did pick this movie up on Blu-ray during Prime Day. It is actually, you can rent it on Amazon and YouTube, but if you search for it on YouTube for free, it's on there.
Nice.
So you can watch it for free on YouTube.
All right. Well, put an extra pot of coffee on because I guess we're gonna go do the night shift.
Oh yeah. See you on the other side, everybody.
Okay.
All right. We are. It's dawn.
The night shift is over.
The night
Morning
shift
has
is over.
broken.
We really need to get to bed, but we thought we should probably talk about this movie.
Should stay up a little longer.
Power push through that wall.
Yeah,
Right?
I already did.
Yeah.
It was 3:30.
3:30.
Okay.
So, what'd you guys think?
I was pleasantly surprised.
good. It was funny.
I enjoyed it a lot.
Yeah.
Did you remember any of it,
No,
Matt?
you know what? I really didn't.
You just remembered the video cover, I bet.
do. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's it. I didn't really remember any of it at all. If
Yeah.
I had actually seen it to begin with, I don't know. I don't
Same.
know. But I did enjoy it. It was funny. You know, it has that like I mean, it came out in the early 80s, but it has that like transitory 70s to 80s period feel.
Mm-hmm.
There's
to
still
it.
a little 70s slime on there.
There is.
Yeah.
There and just that 70s storytelling weirdness.
Yeah,
Where
yep.
just the pacing is odd.
Yep.
But then, you know, they throw like an 80s song out there. You know, you're like that. There was a scene in the club, and it's like, yep, no, we're in
an
We're in the 80s.
we're in the 80s.
Some synthesizers going here.
That's right.
Yeah.
And some neon.
Yeah.
Michael
Yeah.
Keaton says radical a lot.
He does.
He's got those sunglasses. Like there's,
His outfit
you
is
can tell the
best.
80s are
They're
incubating.
creepy. Yes, incubating.
Yeah. But
Yep. So just to give our synopsis.
Yeah, good luck.
Spoilers. So Henry Winkler plays Chuck. As I said before the movie, he used to be a stockbroker. Now he's working in the morgue. At the beginning of the movie, he ends up getting his shift changed, so he wasn't always on the night shift. But there's some nepotism going on with the supervisor in the morgue.
He's a mild-mannered pushover.
Yes. Yep.
He has no balls whatsoever.
He's a complete pushover.
Yeah.
And lets
Literally.
everyone take advantage of him.
He doesn't like conflict.
Doesn't stand up to anything.
Yep.
Like, he'll get a sandwich from the local restaurant, and it's always wrong. And everyone's like, why don't you just get what you want? And he's like, no, they'll
gonna
spit
spit
in
in
my
it.
food. I can't.
So he gets assigned the night shift because the boss's nephew got a job
Right.
in the
So he
day
gets pushed
shift.
around again.
And he has a new partner, Bill, played by an amazing Michael Keaton.
Billy Blaze.
Michael Keaton is the gem of this movie.
He is a force of nature in this movie.
He entertained me the whole time.
Yeah,
He was really funny. Like,
Just his face, just the facial expressions. He is amazing in this.
Yeah, his timing and everything. It was a great debut if this was
delivery.
his first
Yeah.
feature film.
I agree 100%.
Yeah. In one of the reviews of this, Gene Siskel did not like it. He gave it 2 stars,
Okay.
but he said that Keaton's, he hailed Keaton's, quote, superb comic performance, writing that, quote, based on this one role, I would now pay to see Keaton in just about anything.
Yeah.
Except Night Shift.
Why didn't he like it?
I didn't read the whole review.
Oh, all right.
That was just a little blurb about Michael Keaton. But, I mean, Michael Keaton was fantastic in this.
Yeah, he was great.
was
I mean, everybody
great.
was.
Yeah, everybody
Yeah.
was funny, but Michael Keaton was
You can't take your eyes off him
No,
when he's on
next
screen.
level because you never know what he's gonna say.
He stole the show.
It seemed like I don't know if he did, but it seemed like he ad-libbed a lot of his lines, and they were.
No, he's just a good actor.
He's a great actor, but this was funny. He was really funny in this.
So he is Chuck's new partner on the night shift. He's just a crazy guy.
He's just a spaz. He's got like ADD.
He's
He
the
carries-
total opposite.
Yeah.
He carries around a tape recorder that he records like ridiculous business ideas that just pop into his head. Like, oh, why don't we feed tuna mayonnaise so that the tuna tastes better when it's canned?
He keeps singing Jumpin' Jack Flash over and over,
Over
again.
and
One song
over.
he has,
in his car.
and it's a weird live version of it. It's not even the studio version.
It's just so weird.
And so
Got that
immediately,
tiger jacket.
The tiger jacket, the pink print shirt, and those stupid 80s sunglasses.
Yep. Proto
Sorry.
Oakleys.
yep.
God. Go on.
And so, obviously, here's their strange bedfellows, right? Two
Yeah.
completely opposite characters.
Yeah.
Chuck is engaged to this kind of neurotic woman,
Yes.
and she's concerned about her weight, and they're getting married, and she's very preoccupied, and they can't really get romantic because she's always distracted. So
She's always nervous about something. Go check the apartment. Go do this. Turn the lights off. Go do that.
Eating
Right.
Malamar.
Eating Malamars.
So, as this is going on, there's a pimp. The movie actually
That's how the
starts
movie opens, yeah.
with a pimp named Franklin Delano Roosevelt Jones, who is being chased by 2 sort of tough guys, one of which played by Richard Belzer,
Yes. Weirdly.
and they kill him.
Yeah. They defenestrate him.
Yep.
They did.
And so his body is brought to the morgue,
Yep.
and this is sort of the impetus of everything. One of the pimp's prostitutes, played by Shelley Long, comes to identify the body.
Belinda?
Belinda.
Yeah.
Was the name of the chicken in Return to Oz, I think.
I think you're right.
Yeah. Anyway.
Yeah.
And she, at the time, she sees Chuck and says, I know you from somewhere. And turns out she's his neighbor.
Yes.
She lives next door to him in their apartment building. So one day he gets home and he finds her bloody in an elevator.
Yeah.
And he's a good guy.
Yes.
And so he's concerned about her. He brings her back to her apartment after Shannon Doherty thinks that he did it to her.
Right. So
And-
she and her little Girl Scout crowd attack him.
Attack him with cookie boxes.
Yeah. It was cute.
So she complains to Chuck that now that she doesn't have a pimp, guys are taking advantage of
her
all of
services without
services.
paying or beating her up or
Right,
yeah.
and
She's
all the-
undefended.
Right.
And so are all her associates.
Yes. So there's a
Yes.
gaggle. I don't know what they call a group of prostitutes. A gaggle.
of
A murder.
prostitutes.
A gaggle is always my go-to. So there's a gaggle of prostitutes without a pimp that are getting taken advantage of.
Chlamydia of prostitutes.
Oh, Rachel.
Sorry. I feel like it works.
What was the AIDS of prostitutes?
No, that doesn't work.
It does.
I like mine
say
better.
So murder of
So-
prostitutes.
Mine was better.
A school
Sorry.
of prostitutes?
I worked with a guy when his wife was pregnant. I don't know if this was true or not, but
Where are you going with this?
they were in. So they were at the maternity where they're one of their appointments.
At the doctor's office?
Doctor.
Right.
The OBGYN?
Yes.
Okay.
At one of their normal, checking to see if everything's okay.
Okay.
And apparently there was a girl and her mom in the waiting room. The girl was pregnant. She was very young. And at one point, the girl said, "Mom, I just heard the most beautiful name that I think would make a great name, or beautiful word that I think would make a great name." And the mom said, "What?" And she said, "Chlamydia."
Get out of here. That's not
I don't know if
real.
it's true or not.
That's a joke.
But-
I've heard that joke. Your
Wouldn't surprise-
friend's pulling your leg.
I don't know.
Famale.
Famale. Chlamydia.
So Chuck regales Bill with this story about Belinda, and Bill immediately says, "Well, we get this whole morgue to ourselves at night. Their supervisor doesn't work nights. We could be their pimps.
Right.
They have cars.
They've got cars.
They can go bring the
phones.
girls to the appointment, to
Yep.
the Johns or whatever.
So that's what they do.
Well, Chuck resists it at first. He's like, "No, I don't want to do this. This is a
Right.
bad idea." But then Belinda, the hooker with the heart of gold, appreciates Chuck. And so she meets him one morning in his apartment and says, "Hey, we're both up at the same, we're coming home at the same time. We both work the night shift. How about we have breakfast together?" And of course, through a series of ridiculous events, she ends up with most of her clothes off cooking.
She
and
just
he's
took
like,
them off. There's
Right.
no
well,
event.
I mean, yeah.
It was
and he, he's like, "Oh my God." And so I think at that point he's like, "All right, we're doing
yeah,
it.
Well,
we're doing it."
she's the polar opposite of his fiance.
Right.
Right, that's right.
Yeah.
That is correct.
And he sees this as a way to, become more connected to her,
to her
and protect
yeah.
her.
Yeah.
Right.
Yep.
And so they
They do it.
they bring all the girls to the
They
morgue.
do it.
Bill tries to give him a pitch that they don't really buy because they recognize the fact that he doesn't know what he's talking about.
Right.
Yeah.
But Chuck, using his
Business acumen.
his financial knowledge, he
Yes.
basically runs the numbers and says, "Hey, we can make this so that you're making way more than you used to make," and they're all on
They're
board
in,
with that.
yeah.
And so now they are running a love broker business.
They're love brokers.
Bill said, "We're love brokers." And so they become love brokers, and they are very successful.
Yeah, they do
at it.
really well.
So they
and
do
all the
really-
girls are happy.
Girls are happy.
They're raking in money.
They're making money.
The funny thing is that I'm not going to name names, but I did know a stockbroker who part of his clientele were women who worked in that industry, not necessarily prostitutes.
Oh, you're going to name names later.
But
I need to know who this was.
maybe exotic dancers. And
Sure.
Oh, yeah.
they have money, and
Yeah.
he would approach them and say, "Hey, I have a way to, make your money grow. Why don't you put something aside for your future?" And
You don't want to do this forever.
he would get them
Yeah.
to invest in stock portfolios.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting.
So it's not too far fetched, I guess.
No, I bet it's not.
But
So, a couple of things start happening at this point. The two guys that killed FDR Jones. So it turns out he was paying them. I don't know, was it protection money
It
or
was some kind of scheme. I don't know. I don't know if it was a
like their
mob
turf,
thing.
and,
Right.
Yeah.
there was an agreement, and they would get some money
like
or
some royalty
or
fees
cut.
or something?
Yeah.
Yep.
And so they realize, wait a minute, somebody's still working his girls, but we're not getting money for it anymore.
So we're going to go find out who it is.
We're going to find out who their new pimp
Yeah.
is.
Yep.
At the same time, Chuck starts not feeling confident
He's having so much anxiety over the whole thing.
He's an anxious guy, he's sick all the time because he's worrying about this stuff.
Yeah.
And then he ends up, I'm trying to remember, because eventually he and Belinda...
But he and Belinda fall for each other during all of this.
Right.
So even though all through the anxiety and the chaos and the success and whatever, they have their own little love story going on.
Yeah,
He's drifting apart
she
from
is what he wants.
from his fiance, who's not making Chuck happy.
Her parents are awful. There's a whole
Yes.
Thanksgiving scene where her parents
Yes, the
come
movie
and
makes
they're
it very
terrible.
clear that this woman's terrible and they're not meant to be together.
Right.
But he and Belinda fall in love. And they end up, it culminates with them sleeping together in the bathtub.
Well, I mean, that's where they end up.
Right. They probably didn't start in the bathtub.
Empty bathtub.
But the bed was made.
There was a pillow in there.
There
And the
was,
fur coat.
and a
You
fur
didn't
coat.
see-
But
yeah,
it's the
I don't know.
bathtub.
It was like a
Oh.
cloth.
It's a big tub. I mean, there's roomy.
Okay.
Listen.
Okay.
No.
Seems uncomfortable.
I mean, maybe it was filled and then they emptied it.
No.
No?
That's it.
No, because of...
That's still a no.
Forget it.
Okay. Now, at this point, this is dangerous, right? Because he's mixing business with pleasure.
Pleasure.
And so he assumes, well, she's not going to be a prostitute anymore because
She's with me now.
We got together.
Right.
But he never sealed the deal to begin with. He just made this assumption that
Right.
they slept together. So
Right.
and he wanted to say things that he didn't. So
He
Right.
should have said, I love you.
yes.
And he didn't because he was scared.
There was also, prior to them sleeping together, there was a very heartfelt scene with Bill and Chuck and Belinda, where
Yes.
Bill talks about his father and
Yeah.
his childhood, and he gets emotional. So there is depth to
There
Bill.
is a humanity to Bill.
For
For a second.
You don't see much of
a
it.
second. Don't worry about it.
You don't see much of it, but I like that. They gave him layers. He's
They
not
did.
one-dimensional.
I'm happy that you...
Because he could be like a caricature, just a one-dimensional, like on the
Well,
comic relief. And
yeah,
he is
and
still.
he
but-
is.
He still kind of is. But I agree. That was a nice
But
little
yeah,
moment.
they humanized him.
Yep.
They
And I mean, I think all of them, like even Belinda, like they all have.
Well, they had to. I mean,
Yeah.
she, like Rachel said, it's the hooker with a heart of gold. You
Yeah.
know, she
Classic.
is a prostitute, but she, can elevate herself above all this and overcome it, and she belongs in a different place. This is just something that she does.
She does to
Right.
make money.
So anyway, they sleep together. He comes back to work very happy,
Yep.
Changed man.
changed man.
Yes.
He assumes she's done with prostituting
Until she shows up
until
for
she
work.
shows up for work, and he's like, "What are you doing here?" And she's like, "I'm working."
Yeah, I need to make money. I need to make a living.
Right. And so they have an argument because he doesn't want her to do it, and she's like, "Well, what'll happen to me if I don't?
What am I supposed to do?" Yeah.
This is all I know."
Yeah.
And he still can't answer that question.
Right.
Right.
He doesn't step up, and he shirks away from that.
Right.
Right.
That's right.
So she storms off for on a job. Michael Keaton has to drive her, and he leaves Chuck alone in the office.
Yep.
Which is the point where the two killers
Show up.
show up at the morgue because they've tracked the girls. They're basically following the girls to try to figure out who's running them now. And they're basically going to kill Chuck
Right.
because
Very elaborately,
he
by
should
the
have.
way.
Very
Extreme
Rube
elaborate,
Goldberg
yes.
situation where they could have just shot him, but
No,
they've
no.
got him taped to a
table.
A gurney,
table or
yeah.
a gurney, and they have a fire hose in his mouth, and they're gonna like fill him with water or drown him.
I don't know.
Like waterboard him. I don't know.
Yeah.
It was really weird.
So at the same time, Bill is at a club.
No, hold on. At the same time, Bill is driving Belinda to her
Appointment.
trick.
Yeah.
And Belinda reveals to him she's in love with Chuck. And she's sad that he
Right.
kind of like let this go. He didn't.
And she really doesn't want to do the job.
Right. So Bill's like, don't.
No,
Don't worry about it.
I'll
I'll
drive you
take
home."
care of it. I'll drive you home. So he lets her go, and then he ends up in a club, and he's trying to like get guys to come back.
He's
to the-
finding he finds
To the
these
morgue.
right.
The morgue.
He's finding these two guys that don't have female accompaniment. And he's like, "Hey, well, do you want female accompaniment?" And they're like, "Sure." they're undercover cops.
Yep.
And so he brings them back to the morgue, and they stumble upon the two killers
Strapped
trying to
Chuck
drown
to the table. Yes.
Chuck there, and there's a shootout.
Yep.
And the two killers end up surrendering,
Yep.
and the cops, I mean, I'm assuming all four of them are arrested, so the two killers and
Yes.
Chuck and Bill,
Correct.
they all go to prison. And
The fiance leaves
Chuck is freaking out, obviously. He's at rock bottom. The fiance shows up, gives him the ring back, and spits in his face after he had been deloused. The nerve. And the prostitutes end up showing up to bail them out.
Yep.
With sans Belinda.
Belinda's not there.
Belinda's not there.
No.
So come to find out, they get out of trouble. This was a little odd. So
This is a glossing over of the whole problem.
they don't end up going to prison because it's an election year and the mayor doesn't want to deal with the embarrassment of
Of the
a
scandal.
prostitute being run in a city morgue. Is that?
Yes.
Yeah.
So he's like, I'm going to give you your old job back, and we're going to forget all
Any of
about
this happened.
this.
Yeah.
Which seems like a win.
Now, Bill doesn't want to do this, however, because he figures, well, we have leverage now, so we need to get something out of this.
Right.
When Chuck just wants to, I just want my old life back.
Yeah.
I want to forget I even met you. Like, everything bad that's ever happened to me is because of you.
Yep.
So, as I'm talking about this, I know we talked about at the beginning of this theme how movies of this ilk can kind of get formulaic.
Yes.
And it is very kind of similar to The Odd Couple
Oh yeah.
Oh, definitely.
in that respect. So Bill and Chuck have a falling out. Chuck ends up getting his job back, I assume.
Yep.
And he runs into Belinda
At the apartment.
at their apartment building, and she tells him she's got another job at this club,
Paradise Found.
Paradise Found,
Heyo.
Doing the same thing.
doing
Yep.
the same thing. And Chuck says, "Oh, okay, great." And she's also moving. She bought a condo,
Yep.
and she's moving out of the
I
building.
mean, it's an awkward interaction. And
It is. You could tell he wants to say more to her,
Yep.
and you could tell that she wants him to say more
Yep,
to her.
but it doesn't happen.
A lot of looks and
Yep,
glances.
Absolutely.
So she leaves, and in comes the guy who played the "Get Off My Train." That's Schiavelli, I think. Vincent Schiavelli.
I don't know. He's
think
got
his
a
name is.
melting
know.
face.
He's in-
He's
You
the
know his
guy
face. He
with
was
the
in
melting
Cuckoo's Nest.
face.
He's in
Yeah.
One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest.
Yeah.
He shows up delivering
A sandwich.
a sandwich
Yeah.
to Chuck, and Chuck opens the sandwich, and there's mustard on it, and he didn't order mustard. And again, this is the strange bedfellows, where now he has grown as a person. His friendship with Bill and all they went through has
Changed him.
changed him. It made him evolve.
Right.
He's not going to take it anymore.
He's mad
Nope.
as hell.
So
Good movie too.
he tells the guy, "There's mustard on this. I didn't order mustard." So the guy opens the sandwich and just runs the bread down the threshold of his door.
Door with the mustard on it. Like wipes the mustard on his door.
And then puts it back and says, "Okay, here, no mustard." And then he leaves, and Chuck confronts him and says,
He asserts himself.
He does.
He's like, I'm not going to eat this.
Like,
and
no.
go clean up the
"You're
mustard
gonna
off my
clean up-"
door.
Yep.
And the guy does.
And the guy does, and Chuck said, "You know what? I'm going to get Belinda."
Yeah, he's doing it.
So we go to Paradise Found,
Which is a really weird place.
weird club.
It's like an indoor pool party
There's a
with
pool.
prostitutes.
with prostitutes and gross old businessmen.
Yep, and guys in Tarzan costumes bringing towels to
Towel
people.
boys. Yeah.
And he's going there to look for Belinda. Bill happens to be there
He's working there.
He is one of the towel boys at Paradise Found, wearing a Tarzan
Yeah.
onesie.
Yep.
And Chuck, he runs into Bill first, and then he tells him he's looking for Belinda. He finds Belinda, and there's a guy trying to accost her or harass her, and he tells the guy off. He gets punched, but that's okay.
Yep.
and then they confront the owner of the club.
Sort of, and they all then they all leave.
Bill jumps in to try to help.
Yep.
And so they kind of rekindle their friendship.
Yep.
And Chuck shoves the owner of the club into the pool, and they run off.
They run away into the New York City.
He tells Belinda that he loves her.
Yeah, that was nice. And that was it. And she loves him too.
And she loves him back, and
then that's it. The three of them walk off into the...
run into New York City.
Yeah, that's essentially
Sunrise.
it. I mean, there's one glaring omission that I can't believe no one has mentioned.
What?
I was going to get into the song.
Okay.
Is that what you were going to talk about?
Yeah.
I'm not going to sing it.
So
I want to.
You know, there's music throughout the movie, right?
Written by
Burt Bacharach.
Burt Bacharach. I can't believe you didn't mention that in the beginning.
Burt Bacharach is credited as being in charge of the soundtrack. So there is a theme song for this movie.
The titular.
Called Night Shift.
Yes.
Which was written, I believe it was written by Burt Bacharach.
Very mediocre.
Yeah. But how long into the movie would you say this song started playing?
I don't know.
Probably halfway.
Maybe halfway.
Or maybe a little less than halfway.
We started hearing instrumental version of That's What Friends Are For. It was really glaring after Belinda and Chuck had slept together.
Yeah.
And they're laying
in the tub,
partially clothed in the bathtub.
Yep.
That's What Friends Are For is playing in the background.
Just the instrumental.
Yeah. Just instrumental.
Yep.
And I think Rachel said that's an odd song choice for this.
Yeah.
Because, friends really don't bang each other in the tub.
Sometimes they do.
Maybe. Friends with benefits. I don't know. But
yeah, sure. Okay.
But
that's what friends are for.
Exactly. But the song would creep in now and again into various
It was like
scenes.
their
like
theme
they must
song.
have played it like 12 different times.
And I feel like that was the only song that played. Like, once they started playing it, that's the only song that would ever play when there was music.
That's the only song I can remember.
The Night Shift song, the opening credits song, they played that several times.
Instrumental versions of that.
Yes. Throughout the first half of the movie.
Mm-hmm.
But then once Chuck and Belinda got together, every time you saw them, that was that was the romance theme. Yeah. That's what friends are for. But there was one point where he goes to get her at the Paradise Found Club.
Once he's gained his confidence.
They play that song again, but it's like a completely different tone, and it's got horns, and
faster.
It's all jazzy.
It's the confident version.
Weird.
It's
stupid.
Yep.
Now, fun fact about first of all, so the version of that song. So that song was made popular when it was sung by Dionne Warwick, Elton John, Gladys Knight, and Stevie Wonder.
All four of them.
All four of them.
They're all friends. Okay.
Four friends. That's
okay.
What
that came after.
Mm-hmm.
So this was before that.
So
their version was a cover.
Oh.
Rod Stewart. So the closing credits, they've added vocals, and it is Rod. If you want my body and you think I'm sexy, Stewart.
It's true. Who was good in the Faces? I'm just saying. That was a good band.
The Revolting Cocks covered that song. Do you think I'm sexy?
I know. I know that.
Interesting fact about That's What Friends Are For. When I was in 5th or 6th grade, we had to learn that in sign language.
That's what friends are for?
Yes.
Do you still remember?
No.
Or was it like helping hands like Napoleon Dynamite?
Probably kind of. But we had to have a whole presentation, at a talent show.
Did you have a section you did?
We had to get up and sign the entire song.
That is so...
Wow, so you have a special connection to this song.
I do. It brought me back to 6th grade.
Ouch.
And
That's
they were
unfortunate.
Laying naked together in the tub. But yeah, so That's What Friends Are that. I will never think of that song the same way again after since this movie.
It just was such a weird decision. So weird.
Well, it's like they got the rights to it and all right, we're
going to milk this.
We need to get our money's worth.
Yeah, we're getting it all. Yeah. That and the live version of Jumpin' Jack Flash.
So
we heard that a lot too.
So apparently that, where does it say here? Live version of Jumpin' Jack Flash by the Rolling Stones, taken from the 1977 live album Love You Live.
Okay.
So that was the version of that.
It's not very
Good
good.
to avoid.
Yeah, not very good. Prefer the
And
original.
the 80s song, the one that we said sounded 80s, was a song by the band Talk Talk.
Yeah, Talk.
There was another song. Oh, it was.
They have a good album. I can't remember the name
Was
of it.
it
has a
Van
tree on the
Halen or
cover.
just David Lee Roth?
What?
Where he does the Kinks cover.
You really got me.
got me.
That was Van Halen.
That's
Yeah.
Van Halen. They played that at the frat party, and we saw Kevin Costner
We saw
for
Kevin
2
Costner.
seconds.
He was, yep.
He looked so young. So young. No lines. Just there.
But man, that song, every time it would creep in, it's just funny. Like
Why?
it became a thing over and over again. It's like, oh God.
Right. And as soon as the peppier version came on, we all just
Yeah.
died
was so
laughing.
dumb.
It was so ridiculous.
Come on, movie.
Hilarious.
I wanted a rock version.
I know you did. They didn't give that to
Well,
you.
I mean,
you had
the-
Rod
you
Stewart.
had Rod Stewart. I
at
mean,
the
that's
end.
as close
He's
as
kind
you
of,
get
kind of
to that.
rockish. Yeah. Oof.
He's still alive, right?
Rod Stewart?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think so. Yeah.
We can't guarantee that by the time this airs.
No.
No.
True.
Can't know.
But
But the time of recording.
I liked it a lot. It was a lot of
I
fun.
enjoyed it. I was pleasantly surprised.
Yeah.
What would you rate this?
I'm going to give it 4 streeps.
Wow.
I really, really enjoyed it.
So, okay. If Michael Keaton was not in this movie,
Oh, at least 1 star for Keaton.
right. So I would give it, if Michael Keaton wasn't in this movie, if it was somebody else, I was still entertained. I enjoyed it more than I didn't. I wasn't neutral. So I'd give it like 3.
Mm-hmm.
But Michael Keaton bumps it up to like, I want to even say like, it's not a 4 for me, but like 3.75 Michael Keaton's. That's
He's
it.
amazing.
He just really brings it. It's worth watching just to watch it. I just thought he was really funny.
From the moment he shows up, from
Yeah.
like minute 1 of him showing
He's
up.
so obnoxious and crazy and like spazzy.
Yeah.
But in a good, but not in a, I don't know. That sounds negative.
He
but
is spazzy, but
yeah.
in a funny way.
He's just really funny.
And yeah, I mean, it's a great slice of late 70s, early 80s film. I don't know. I mean, there's a little bit of nostalgia. You see parts of New York City in there before the great cleanup that occurred, where the subway
Yeah.
was still a mess. And,
Yeah. And crime wasn't so.
No, crime was crazy.
Crime was going on. But
But-
like, this movie's a little corny. It's got a corny.
It's corny. I would never say that it would ever achieve like a cult classic status, and it's not a must watch, but it's fine.
It's an MRT.
Like,
fine.
It's totally fine. I wouldn't.
Yeah.
I wouldn't run out and seek it out, but it's better than you think.
Yeah. Yes.
You know?
I think that's true. And it's free on YouTube.
It's free on YouTube. Free on YouTube.
It's worth a shot.
Yeah.
Totally.
Would your moms like it?
Maybe.
My mom might like it.
Yeah, I mean, it's-
yeah. I don't know. It's
corny. It's
inoffensive,
funny.
I
Yeah.
guess, if you don't mind hookers running a brothel out of a morgue.
And if you do,
Inoffensive.
I mean, maybe rethink your life
Relax.
a little bit. It's comedy.
It's
It's fun.
I
funny.
mean, I
It's
do
there.
think it is the best movie about a brothel run out of a morgue.
That
You
might
don't
be a
even-
short list.
You don't even get that much of the brothel run out of them. Like, I thought there would be more of that,
Yeah.
but there wasn't.
It's not really a brothel run out
No.
of a
Well-
morgue. It's like a call center for prostitutes.
Right.
Call center for
They're like
call
the
girls.
operation
There you
center.
go.
That's right. It's like the brains and
Well, that's-
the only
yeah.
time that they actually had people there
Was the frat party.
there were 2 times. One was when they were trying to sell the idea to
Yep,
the
to the girls.
prostitutes to begin
Yeah.
with, and the other was that frat party that
That Michael Keaton did because
Yeah.
he just wanted to have a good time.
Right.
Because he's crazy.
Yep.
Yeah.
so
All right.
All right. So we that's the end of Strange
That's the end of
Bedfellows.
Strange
I feel like that movie
Bedfellows.
did a good job with the theme.
Oh, I
Yeah.
think so. Chuck and Bill.
Yep.
Chuck and Bill.
Chuck and Bill, Chuck and Belinda. I mean,
Chuck and
they're
Belinda. Yep,
very
that's true.
much opposite.
They were strange bedfellows. They came together.
Yeah.
They overcame their
they
strange.
became familiar bed.
Nice.
So we're gonna draw a new theme,
Yep.
but then we do have an announcement.
We have a special announcement.
Special announcement. So should we do the theme first?
Yep.
It's not that
All right.
special.
Hang on. Let me get over to the wheel here.
In the wheel.
All right. Here we go. We're gonna spin it. Come on, big bucks,
was a
no
good spin.
whammies.
Big money.
Okay, here we go.
Bankrupt.
And our new theme is: Could I survive?
Could you?
I don't know.
We kind of had this conversation before. What did we watch? What episode was it?
Wasn't it,
And we talked about...
It was one of the like apocalypse, like the post-apocalyptic movies where I was just like, no, I would die immediately.
I would die immediately.
Was it like Threads? I think it was. It
might
was
have been
Threads.
Threads.
or-
We were
I
talking
think you're
about
right. I
what
think
would
it
you
was
do
Threads.
Yeah.
in like a nuclear holocaust.
Like die.
I was like, I would
Like
make
no,
it.
I would not. I have no useful skills.
Carl, I challenge you to pick a movie where you think you would survive. That's what I want for you.
Okay.
You don't have to, but just.
Wizard of Oz.
Oh my God!
I could survive that.
The Wicked
That's-
Witch could
no.
get you.
No?
Those flying monkeys, will fuck you up.
If Dorothy could have survived that, I think I could have.
All right. Well, she had the ruby slippers.
I don't know.
What?
I don't know. I
What are
mean,
you
Wizard of Oz
talking
doesn't
about?
really come to mind when I think of like a survival
Movie.
scenario.
Could I survive?
Like the first thing.
Well,
that
the
comes to
Wicked
mind.
I don't know
was
why I
out-
thought
No.
Wizard of Oz.
She was out to like kill her.
Yet Dorothy and her little puppy dog.
her little dog, too.
Like, right. So
I'm
no.
just saying.
I could make it.
I could make
All right. Well, so we'll take that as a given. You got to pick something else.
Okay. Okay.
no Wizard of Oz.
Okay, I'll pick a harder one.
Okay.
Okay. So as far as the announcement,
Special announcement.
So we are going to go on a bit of a summer hiatus.
We're taking a summer vacation.
We're taking 2 weeks off.
We're
for
taking a couple
Christ's
weeks
sake.
off.
Why are you saying for Christ's sake?
For crying
It's not
out
a big deal.
loud.
We deserve a break.
Oh, do
It's on
we?
vacation. Yeah. Yes.
Do we now?
Do you know how many episodes we've put
We've
out in a
done
row?
Weekly.
So many.
Weekly. What other podcasts
Weekly
are
episodes?
weekly?
It's like 80 now.
Guys, it's like 80.
So many.
So many.
So many.
Episodes
So many
without a
episodes.
break.
Without a
Yeah.
break.
We've
No.
earned it.
The fact is that life happens and we don't have a backlog
No.
to put things out, and we're going away on vacation, so we're taking
We're taking
a
a
break.
summer vacation. But you, dear listeners, can avail yourself of older episodes. There are some gems in there.
They really are.
I highly recommend, if you haven't listened, you should really listen to, it's an old episode, but Dial Code Santa Claus. That's like
season one.
That's season 1.
Christmas in July?
Yeah, do a Christmas in August. It's Christmas in August.
Yeah.
Oh, it's August
It
now.
is August
I don't
when they're
know.
listening
That
to this.
is one of my
Listen, it's July
personal
25th right now.
favorites. Dial, what was it? Was it Dial Code Santa Claus?
Yes.
But was there other parts of the name?
Well, there were alternate
There was the
names.
French version. There was Deadly Games.
Was that what it was?
Deadly Games.
It was
Is
Deadly
that
Games.
what we called it? Is that the
That's
name
what
of the
it was
episode?
called, yeah.
Okay. Is it Deadly Games?
Yes.
Yes.
Listen to
I
Deadly
published it.
Games. That's a good one if you haven't heard it. I like that one. Does
Happy
anyone
Birthday,
else?
Jesus.
Does-
Was that?
yes. By oh my God, Bonnie Tyler. Yeah.
Wow.
Does anyone else have any
Her
other
voice sounding like a door that needs WD-40.
past episode suggestions for our viewers
Just
to
go,
listen to?
go check them out. See what
that's not
suits your
helpful.
fancy.
That's
If
not
there's a
helpful.
movie that, yes, it is.
No,
If there's
it's
a movie that you haven't seen, go rent it and listen to the podcast and then watch it.
Oh, that's fun.
Yeah.
See, damn it. Don't shoot me down.
Listen to
you
the
don't
Oh
know
Brother.
what's coming.
Listen to the Oh Brother We're Out There episode.
No,
It's
that
up to
one
like
has-
375.
That one has
downloads.
enough
Yes, it
listens.
is.
I want you to listen
No, see,
to other
Rachel's
ones.
upset that
I'm
was,
not upset.
That was my episode.
It was usurped.
I am
It usurped
not upset.
Crybaby.
Yes, I
It's
think
okay.
I think there's
I'm
a
gonna
part
go-
of her that is upset about that.
I'm going to be a crybaby about
You should be
it.
happy
are a
for
crybaby.
for Matt's episode success.
I'm so happy.
It's all of our success.
Right.
Matt worked hard. He researched. That's a well-researched
Oh, it really
episode.
is. Oh my God.
Yeah.
I don't think he introduces the episode to like 45 minutes in.
You-
Listen,
we all have our own
That's my
style.
choice.
It's okay. It's your episode.
Back off.
I will not.
Although
be
I will
right
say, if we're looking at stats right now, the most hits an episode has gotten is Cinderella Man, which was your episode.
Cinderella
Directed by Ron
Man.
Howard also.
Also.
On YouTube has like 4,000 hits now.
That's crazy to me.
Yeah, it is crazy. Was there a show that came out recently named Cinderella Man or something? Like, are people mistaking?
Why are you raining on my parade?
All right.
You're always like, it's bots, or there was another show that came out. Nobody actually listened.
There is a night shift show.
Not Night
So maybe-
Shift, Cinderella Man. This isn't even out yet.
No, I know, but
talking
I'm
about-
saying like this could be mistaken for something else.
Sure. But no, I'm just impressed. Maybe impressed
What?
is the wrong
Is
word.
it like super?
It's like I don't understand. dumbfounded as
It's
to
a glitch in
how
the Matrix.
that episode and some others have gotten as many hits as they have.
How far ahead of it is it to the second? Like, is it super far above like the second most downloaded?
It's significantly. I mean, the other ones, maybe the second after that one has like half.
Oh wow,
half of that.
Russell Crowe has a following.
I like Russell Crowe.
All those Renee Zellweger fans, and they're mad at us about talking about her face.
They would leave mean YouTube comments.
Yeah.
Well, Cinderella Man, Renee Zellweger's face was fine.
Yes.
I don't know
like
what
her
the hell
face.
she did to it
I
since
know,
then.
a plastic surgery.
But man, leave your faces and the rest of your body parts alone.
Aging in
you don't
Hollywood's
need it
hard.
unless you're in like a fucking plane crash or a car accident or something. What? Yeah, exactly. It's tragic, and that's when you should get some sort of reconstructive surgery.
Okay.
Don't turn 45 in Hollywood and feel the need to have facial reconstructive surgery. You look like an alien, like Nicole Kidman or Renee Zellweger.
Oof. It's rough. They all do it.
Yeah.
I'm not going to do that.
Age gracefully.
So
It's all right.
don't miss us too much. It's just a 2-week break, and then we'll be right back with our new theme. Oh, God.
Go ahead,
Seriously?
keep going.
Oh, now we're going to...
I asked you not to sing it.
Now we're
that doesn't mean
we're gonna get a
find it on
copyright
your
strike,
phone.
Rachel.
Yeah.
Stop playing that.
No, he's not
All right.
kidding.
Well, I just wanted to,
Ruin the
share
episode?
that.
Turn it
No,
off.
I did. Why are you yelling
They're
at
going
me?
to pull our episode.
I want
No
it
one's
off.
going to pull. I wanted to share.
You say no one's going to pull our episode. They have algorithms that go through and look at patterns. They're not listening to anything. They're looking at sound
Ew.
signatures and comparing it to a database.
What if we make tones that sound like something?
How about we make tones like the episode's wrapping up
Yes.
right about now?
Well, that's what I was doing.
So thank you, everybody, for
Yes.
tuning in to another installment of the Movie Roulette Tuesday podcast. We will see you.
Nope.
Never.
Nope.
Well,
Try
some of you
again.
will see you.
Oh. Yep.
You'll hear us in 2 weeks.
No, 3? We're taking 2 weeks
We're
off.
taking 2 weeks off.
So we'll see.
You'll
you
hear
in
from us sometime.
It's the end of this theme. We're taking a couple weeks off, and then it'll begin the next theme cycle.
It'll be a mystery.
Yes.
Could I survive?
Woo.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.